Brews and Banter Podcast. Banter Podcast. Brews and Banter Podcast. What up, what up, what up? Welcome to Brews and Banter Podcast. I'm your host, Rob G. And with me, as always, is the Legendary Brew Crew. What up, fellas?
I was reading this weekend.
Mama.
Nah, it doesn't taste like dirt.
My name is Lou Belgians, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm wondering,
Does Delaware have an actual culture? This is the podcast that we talk about beer, but we also talk about a lot of things that's happening in the world, politics, movies, anything really that comes to our mind while we're here sampling these brews. Grab a drink and pull up a chair.
Ooh, we love you, Brews and Banter Podcast.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to Brews and Banter Podcast, where the topic is the rockin' and the brew. We'll have it the fuel. And I'm your host, Rob G. And with me, as always, the Legendary Brew Crew. What's going on, fellas?
Hi.
Hey, guys.
Hello.
Hi, guys.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
It's episode 223.
223.
Brews and Banter Podcast, and we are here at Carbon Copy in West Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And we have,
You can't help
I mean, that's every time you hear West Philadelphia. I mean, you have to.
That's the question I'm going to ask you guys. How many times have you heard it?
Everyone says, like Will Smith?
Yeah. That's one of my questions on the list. Yep, that is our question I have.
Really?
Yeah, he's the topic of the...
has he been here yet? No.
Yeah, not even, I was just going to ask if they had seen him in the streets, if they seen like an auntie or something like that. Just somebody that he knew.
Yeah, that's funny.
But today we do have special guests with us. If you want to tell us your name.
Yeah. First?
Sure.
I'm Brendon Boudwin.
And I'm Kyle Wolak.
All right, and we are here at Carbon Copy, like I said, and we're going to get into knowing a little bit more about how Carbon Copy started, where it's going, and what they're doing here in West Philadelphia. But before we get on to that, we always like to know what we are drinking on. So, what do we? Oh, you know what? I didn't even give a round of applause, but thank y'all for coming.
Yeah, intro was...
Yeah, it was
weird.
I think I threw you off.
Yeah, because he started 50. He hit record and never hit stop. Man,
Never told nobody, but okay.
Welcome, gentlemen.
But welcome.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for having us. Appreciate y'all. We do this a lot better other times, but you know.
I swear.
He said he heard a couple episodes, maybe. You know.
So he knows we do not.
We make it unique. We make it unique to you. This is a unique Carbon Copy only intro. We'll never have another intro like this.
That is true.
I promise you that.
That doesn't go with the name then.
Carbon Copy.
No, it's a Carbon Copy brewery intro. That's unique.
There you go.
Gotcha.
Yes, I like that.
All right. All right. So before we get into it, we always like to know what we're drinking on. So what are we starting off with?
Yeah, so our first one, the clear one in the front, that's our Bindle German-style Pils. It's like a North German style, so it's a little bit more bitter. I think a commercially available comparison would be like Jaeger Pilsner. So it's a really traditional all Weirmann Pilsner malt. We use Tettnang, Hallertau Mittelfrüh, and Sterling hops in it as well.
All right.
That's
the ABV
definitely
on this?
refreshing.
5%.
Yeah, it's real summertimey to me.
Yeah.
That's a good pill.
5% you said?
I like that.
Actually, that's what I was going to say. Normally Pilsners, because Pilsners I always just say that's beer to me, but like with this, like that's good.
What is it that makes it, that gives it that extra?
You know what's funny? The for some reason those hops, even though I ain't into a lot of hoppy stuff, but like it works. Like the extra hoppiness to this one works.
Could you say what hops you used again, just to clarify for people?
Hallertau Mittelfrüh, Tettnang, both of those are like grown in Germany, and then Sterling is an American hop. And it's got a little bit of bite, you know.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. The little bite to it makes it a little better than the others.
Yeah, there you go. What about you, Rob? Why does it stand out for you?
Well, it's definitely a crisp, and then like they always say, if you go to anybody's brewery and you take their Pilsner first to see if they can really brew, and from here I can say
so far so good.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's good.
It's always high up there in the number one sellers. So
Okay.
Awesome.
At least in the top 3 sometimes.
Two.
But hold on, before we go any further, what's the positions that you guys play?
Because I was going to say congratulate the brewer, but I'm like, are we
We are
congratulating?
both the brewers and owners out here, so
Cheers.
Do it all, you know.
Cheers to you guys, man. This is really good. So we have a rating system. I think the two brothers and myself will say, pass me another. This is
why not? Of course.
Yeah, definitely, because this is delicious. So now we got
It's delicious.
Moving on.
now we got the first beer out the way. Give us, I guess, an overview of how Carbon Copy got started, how you two came to know each other, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I think the first time Brandon and I met, I was working at another brewery. You were still here in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
At the time, I think I was working in Denmark, and I was just back. We met at a beer festival, I think in Boston.
Denmark, not like a brewery, but Denmark, the country.
Like the country.
All right, you gotta just you gotta explain that a little bit. You can't just name drop countries like that.
I was working in Denmark.
I was out in Denmark. I came back to the States for a bit.
I know. Beer fest. I popped over the pond across the pond. Right. Met Brendon in Boston.
He says it like it's an easy I-95 trip. That's not. It's Denmark. All right.
It was. But yeah, I met him at a festival, and then like later come to work at the same brewery. We used to work at Tired Hands in
nice
together. Yeah. Then we'd worked there for a while and decided to kind of like do our own thing. So right around the start of the pandemic, I think it was in April of 2020, we put in our notice because we thought
So during the pandemic, y'all said, you know what?
At the first month of the pandemic, I'm gone. I don't need money.
Our jobs, you know?
These PPP loans are coming through for me.
You know, that's taking a big chance.
Yeah, for sure. How long was it in process before you like said, okay, it's COVID, it's April, we're out? How long were you guys actually at the brewery discussing it amongst yourselves?
We stayed there till September of 2020, and then we did some wine stuff. Since we're a winery and brewery, kind of got ahead of it a little bit, making some wine in October 2020. And then we took over this space in June of 2022. Yeah. So about 2 years from leaving the job to, when we got a space.
Okay.
And we looked at a lot of spaces, too, before we found and ultimately settled on this spot. I'd say we looked at 20 to 30 spots.
Wow. Now, was it already outfitted like this, or did...
It was formerly the Dock Street Brewing's original space. So they were here for 17 years.
Okay.
Yeah,
this was the first
2006 or 7.
Yeah.
They took the space over and they put all the brewing equipment in, and then built the walls and put the windows back in. So a lot of it was here
already
to stay.
Ready for that.
Yeah, they built it in.
Was it always going to be in Philly?
Yeah, it was definitely always in Philly. We looked in different areas though, but this definitely checked all the boxes for us to be able to have. Our system's a 10-barrel brewery. Okay. It's good size, and also the ability to have a restaurant and tap room all in one space.
Absolutely.
And to be in West Philly, it's a great spot to be.
Nice.
And it smells delightful in here, guys.
It really does. You kind of you guys like throwing in little notes that people trying to gloss over. You guys brew or made wine, and you still make wine.
Yep.
We don't have any samples of that.
Oh dang!
So,
I gotta go get some wine samples.
We want all the liquids. We want to try all of your liquids. But what was the impetus for winemaking, or was brewing beer first? What was first?
Brewing beer was first, and then
how the wine
as you
come
get
about?
into when beer's your job, you kind of also look at other stuff to enjoy outside of that.
I don't want to brew at home anymore. Yeah, that's over. Yeah.
So kind of just trying different wines and getting into more of the natural wines where they have kind of the native yeast fermenting. I kind of was a little bit more like what we were into, and they have spontaneous beer and stuff, so a little bit more character and that kind of stuff. And at Tired Hands, and before that when I was at Modern Times, was doing a lot of barrel stuff and working with some of those different kinds of cultures, and kind of started a little bit of a wine program at Tired Hands before I left.
Okay.
And we thought that's something we wanted to continue to do, and there's harvest once a year, so you only get so many chances to do it. So we're let's we're not going to be busy enough, so might as well make ourselves even busier.
We're a brewery. Why not open a winery?
We're not going to be busy enough, says the owners of brewery.
But I want to go back because you guys met at a beer festival.
Yeah, so
randomly.
That's what my question is. So because I know a lot of conversations happen at beer fest.
Yeah.
But I haven't. I didn't meet them at a beer fest, but I'm just thinking to myself, how did that conversation come up? Hey, buddy,
because there are so many great conversations that happen, but they end right when y'all turn y'all's backs to each other. They never. So y'all didn't know each other before this particular beer fest?
No, that was just the first time was I I mean, when breweries get together at beer festivals too, you're hanging out, you're drinking,
true,
and like,
true.
I don't think we had like
all over the country,
any
all over the world. And
deep
kinda,
conversations at that point. Just kind of like I met Brendon, and I was like, oh, he seems like a cool guy.
Yeah.
Then another beer fest, I see him again.
We
Yeah.
did something. Tired Hands did a thing up in Maine with Oxbow, and Kyle was up in Vermont, and he came to that. And we're like,
Okay.
There you are
hey,
again.
what's up?
Yeah, here I am, just popping up.
Oh, it's you again.
Then
That's cool, man.
when someone at Tired Hands had left, had reached out to Kyle about, hey, this job's open. We're friends, and this is a cool place to live. So,
Well, now I'm curious. Like, it seems like you've been in the industry for quite a while. Like, so when did you actually get into the craft beer industry and decide, hey, this is what I want to do?
Yeah. Now, what's your origin story?
I've been working in craft brewery since I was 16. It was like my second job. I was a dishwasher in like a brew pub setup. I'm originally from Indiana.
Okay.
So I got a job in the kitchen. I was a dishwasher, just kind of like climbed the ladder, and I was a cook eventually. And then when I was 20, they asked if I wanted to be the sous chef, and I was like, no, I don't really like cooking. It's just like just a job, But I'm interested in brewing, and it was at Three Floyds Brewing out in Indiana.
Okay.
And they were growing at the time, and they're like, well, when you're old enough, when you're 21, like we got a job for you over here. So I transitioned over to there. So I started brewing when I was 21.
Awesome, man. Was that always the goal at 16 to stay in the beer industry?
No, but it was mainly just a job at first, like working in a restaurant. That's like easy to get into, But after like just kind of seeing the counterculture of like breweries and all these brewers and the owners of the company, I'm like, they seem to be having fun. I always I was like, this doesn't really seem like a quote unquote real job. Like you're making beer, you're hanging out. Like there's always like bands playing festivals and stuff. I was like, this is more of a laid back approach to like
making
a
money.
job. So I appreciate that, and the creative part of it, but also like the manual labor part. Like being active.
Right. Okay.
What about you?
I guess in craft beer in general, 2008 started bar backing at a spot in Westchester that had some craft beer. Kind of introduced me to that. When I was 19, I had my brother like, try this IPA.
It's always these underage guys.
I was 21.
There you go.
So then another spot called Sidebar had opened up, and they were like craft beer focused, and it was like really in like a boom of people like distributed a ton out here because monks, and we've had like an old like a really strong beer scene here. So they were kicking like 4 or 5 beers a week, and so just constantly trying new beers. And I always kind of like had that bug and like wanted to thought I would be part of a brewery someday, but was going to college and into grad school, and I was like, all right, well, I'd be on like a different side of it, and then worked at Tired Hands as a bartender, and then moved out to California to finish grad school. Was working at Modern Times as a bartender, and then after 4 years of grad school, I was like, well, might as well try now, and so I went from.
What was master's in?
I got a doctorate in audiology.
Because he said 4 years. I'm like, a 4-year master's. God damn. Like, nope, it's a doctor.
I don't know. I was like, well, fuck it. Might as well try now. There's no better time than, you're on the end of the packaging line and cleaning kegs. And, they were growing a lot at the time, so was able to kind of advance through there. And then I had a relationship with a lot of people at Tired Hands, and they were building out like a bigger oak facility, and I was doing a lot of that stuff. So they offered me a job back to start like a lab there and work in all of the oak fermentation stuff. So I was running that facility, and like maybe a year after I came back, Kyle came and was running like the main production facility. So
cool.
Am I the only person who doesn't know what audiology is?
I thought it was. I thought it said audiology.
That was actually going to be my next question.
Hearing, right? Yeah.
It's diagnosing and treating hearing and balance disorders.
Okay, he turned his doctor voice on. Wow, he went from brewery voice to doctor voice.
Got that loaded up.
Jeez, good doctor.
Yeah, a lot of like hearing tests, hearing aids, but the balance system's in there too. So
Back in the
still related because there's one that part of your ear system, when you start drinking.
Oh, that equilibrium.
Yeah.
You're like, I can help you with that. Just slow down that drinking.
Well, if anybody has an ear problem that comes in here, people normally choke or something. But he's like, I can't help you. But if it's something wrong with your ear,
I'm assuming he knows the
choking symbol for ears.
Yeah. Do you know sign language?
For ears.
No, not too much. It's a very difficult.
It's a new language.
To
It's
learn,
learning a
and,
new language. Yeah.
It's one of those things like any new language, like you gotta
get into it.
A lot, and to really.
I feel like one of your classes should have been sign language.
Yeah, we did take sign language.
Okay.
So there's like a little
but
bit.
you got to keep.
Yeah.
They just give you the basics.
When I was in college, like this was like a whole thing. Like there, like you had to take your language classes, and like the program I was in was like fighting with the college. Like or ASL is like a second language, and we should be able to take these classes.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Especially with the degree that you ended up getting.
And there's a whole culture behind that as well too.
So you did the dissertation and all that stuff, and
so it was like a clinical doctorate. So like it was a lot. We had some stuff to do, but we didn't have to like do like a research project the same. But the last year was just working in in the field.
You're more of a lab
hours.
coat doctor than
I didn't know if I should call you Dr. B or not.
I'm calling him Dr. B from now on, because it's still no matter if you do the job or not, you're always Dr. B.
My mail's address.
Absolutely. Call me doctor. It's 8 years of
so
this.
crazy with these brewery people are
I know.
into.
I don't know. Black girl on tap is a doctor.
Let me find out he a pilot.
It's an astronaut right here. Like he does it all.
I definitely did not go to college.
We've had some people like that who went into distillery, right? He was like a rocket scientist.
Once that gets in there, it's hard to get out. You're like, I got to either. That was my thing. I was like, if I like this when I'm scrubbing mold off of tanks and kegs and putting 4-packs into boxes, and I think I can stick with it and do that side. And if I wanted to open a brewery, wanted to like know how to.
Listen, man.
Beer.
After the Pilsner that you served and saying that you're one of the brewers here, I would say that you made the right choice.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Who cares
Speaking
about
of that,
who cares about people's ears?
Should we move to the next one?
Why not?
Before we
I segued that really well. You're welcome.
This is our Gully. It's our main IPA.
Gully.
That sounds just like West Philly, don't it?
Yeah, Gully.
That's real gully. Oh, it smells delicious. I already know what I'm about to think.
No, that's good though.
More of that modern, hazier style.
Lou, you might like that. He doesn't do IPAs at all.
I don't.
But this is good.
It's like a grapefruit juice.
Yeah, it's juicy.
Yeah, so we use Strata, which the little dank has a lot of like tropical fruit. Same thing with Ido 7. That's a little bit like more like kind of a pineapple-y side, and then Nelson Sauvin from New Zealand. It's like that's got a lot of that like New Zealand funky Sauv Blanc, like intense kind of tropical flavor. So we were really going for something that was lower bitterness, like super aromatic, and
it is the ABUs
nice.
are very low. Our IBUs rather.
Yeah.
What's the ABV on that?
7.2.
7.2. Oh yeah. And like, cause it didn't punch. I was expecting it to punch me in my face with the hops, cause it smells real hoppy.
Yeah.
But it didn't. Thank goodness.
Yeah. So
and I'm gonna stick with it, man. It smells delicious.
yeah, we're going heavy on the that kind of tropical fruit flavor and aroma.
Yeah, I really like that.
But there's a little bit of wheat and a little bit of oats in there too. It kind of helps soften it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now we got the Dr. B's story, and now we know everybody's origin story, kind of. Like so I said you said in 2020, y'all decided to come together, form like Voltron. So I guess I always want to know like where did the name Carbon Copy come from? Like what is the history behind all that?
Yeah, so our name is kind of just like we just didn't really want to be a carbon copy brewery, like a carbon copy of every other brewery. Kind of like, a lot of people like the newest trend comes out and everyone tries to like rush to do that. So like, we just kind of wanted to do a little bit of everything because we like all the beers too. It's like we didn't want to just make IPA or just make lagers.
Appreciate that about y'all.
Our inspiration we always said is kind of like we wanted this spot to be like a 2000s brew pub, where you can come in and have a little bit of everything, all strengths and styles on the menu. Right. So like, we have lagers, we have the hazy IPA. We also do a lot of like West Coast stuff because we really like the classic bitter IPAs. We have English beer. We got a couple of English beers on right now, and always have like at least one like wit beer and stuff. So
Okay.
try to do a little bit of
and we do a lot of the. There's a good chunk of beers that are around all the time because this is like a lot of people's neighborhood corner spot. So don't want people to come in. You know, some people come in, they drink our pale ale, and that's all they drink. And, you know, like come in and be like, oh, I guess this is like a new beer, and that one that I really liked is gone forever. You know, we have like to have a lot of that, like as like constants, and you know, do a lot of collabs to kind of mix it up, and you know.
You don't want people egging y'all on windows. I hate you guys. Where's the beer?
Here's my favorite beer.
Right.
We only make that one time. We'll never make it again. You know? Like,
Jeez, please don't.
Because sometimes that could be bad.
I mean, Michigan's night's coming up, so we don't know. We
True.
Anyway, so.
So what's the what is the I guess the logo, like the big cat?
The panther, yeah. Is it a panther?
Is it a panther?
A leopard?
we get that question
Mountain
a lot.
lion, cougar,
Leopard,
And
yeah.
I think a puma is like.
I thought you said big cat.
I feel like
Big cat.
I feel like mountain lions and cougars are the same,
The
and
same,
so are panthers and the puma.
Yeah.
I think they're all the
Right,
same
yeah.
Yeah, a
animal.
lot of
That's
them
true.
are pretty similar, and I think I always look it up and then I always forget. You think it's the thing I remember.
But why? But why the feline?
Yeah.
Well,
the big cat.
You've got like the two, and they're back to back. You know, kind of like
They're
the
like
carbon
they're
copy.
mirrored,
Yeah.
almost like carbon
okay.
copies of each
Okay,
other. But
yeah,
also,
yeah.
like, we try to work in a more sustainable way as much as we can. And like, there's an eastern mountain lion that was native to Pennsylvania that has since become extinct. So
What?
we kind of like use that as to be like a reminder to kind of like do as much as we
Yeah.
can.
Don't
to
become
keep
extinct.
our foot
Yeah,
small.
to not
At the same
to
time,
not
too,
extinct
like,
other to not extinct
the
other
easy
animals.
answer is it just kind of looks cool, you
Yeah.
know. Like
We're going for like
we're looking for like a classic imagery of
Yeah.
like, you know, like
some like collegiate inspired stuff. early
Yeah,
on.
I see that. I see
me
that
too.
for
And they,
sure.
Definitely kind of. We work with just one guy. His name's John Schubert. So we've been working with him for almost probably over 3 years now.
Yeah.
Just like took the time to really like dial in exactly what we wanted, and you know we like when there's like, you know, almost like a mascot of sorts, you know, like that kind of imagery,
Right.
and it just worked out.
It's
really
definitely
well.
it's not a Nittany lion, is it? Or it could be
I
on
guess
certain
it-
days.
I guess that
A
would
little
be the
bit.
same kind of. Same
I don't know
kind
what
of
a
lion.
Nittany lion is at all.
Probably that extinct line.
Pennsylvania extinct lion.
It's a liger. It's a liger. It's a
Definitely
liger.
not trademark infringement.
No,
of any
no,
large universities.
not at all, not at all, not at all. I was just thinking because we're in Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
and then finding out we have an extinct lion in our midst.
You know what I wonder is, I'm gonna ask you guys because I think about it, but I don't ask a lot of people. When you guys are brewing beers, the beer that you're the most passionate about
good
brewing,
question.
right? Do people feel the same way when they're drinking it, or is it just like some people just be like, "Oh, this beer is okay"? You're like, "God damn, that is my I put my life into that beer," and then the one that you didn't put, you didn't really.
like I spilled that one on the floor.
They're like,
I love this floor beer. This is the best
beer ever.
I'd say there's definitely like, you know, the trends, and you know, you see a lot of it based on just like one app, like Untapped, and not everyone does that. Like if you looked at the amount of beer we sold versus how many Untapped check-ins, it's a staggering difference,
Right.
which is
Right.
great because we're like, that just means people are sitting and actually
drinking the
enjoying
beer,
it,
not
enjoying
talking
the
about
beer.
it, not writing about it.
And like, you know, we don't drink a ton of double IPA, and that's like kind of, you know, one of the highest rated because, you know, people who drink a lot of those usually are on the app.
Right.
But it is.
I wonder
it
if
is
that's a-
annoying when someone's like, you know, 0.5. I always hate pills. Like why'd
Yeah,
you
it's
pay,
like-
pay
Yeah,
money for
why'd you drink it?
Why'd
You drink it to give it a bad rating that you always hate. I like that y'all don't like double IPAs as much as
Yeah.
the normal people. I like the IPA about
We
you
like to
guys.
drink a lot of
Yeah.
beer, so lower.
Yeah, get you to
beers.
drink more for sure, for sure.
I think we do like a lot of stuff that a lot of breweries don't do, or, you know, I talk to other brewery owners like, I wish I could brew like dark mild. It's like, just brew it.
Yeah, I
If
was
you
like,
get
why can't
behind
you?
It,
Yeah.
Other people, they do pick up on that. And
What is one of those styles that you don't feel is one of the most popular that you guys brew and people keep coming back for?
I mean, when we brewed this dark mild, we weren't sure how it was going to
There it
be.
is.
be received, and we sold through it really well. And people were asking about cans, and people were asking when it's coming back. So, like, you know, it's like that English beer, but it's a little, you know.
Damn, now we got to drink it.
Yeah, that's right.
Because I think that's like the thing about everything. People didn't know they liked IPA until they were like, here, have an IPA.
Yeah.
So if you give the
Yeah.
application on, like, hey, try some different styles. There's millions of styles out here.
Right.
Yeah.
You might find out that, you know what, I really don't like IPA as much
which
as
is
I like this.
which is another
ESB.
thing I like about you guys. Yeah, go ahead and make those. Do you guys make ESBs?
We haven't made an ESB yet. We did a bitter, like a pub beer.
Yeah, we got like a pub ale that we made with Al from Concrete Blues.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like it's close enough.
So what do we drink? What is
Yeah.
the third beer?
Yeah, so this is our Keen. It's an English dark mild. It's low ABV. It's only 3.5%, which also we were
Really?
excited that people are like into a lower alcohol beer as well. But it's very flavorful. A lot of English malts, some English hops in there as well.
Yeah, a little bit of like kind of toffee in there, a little little chocolate. So
It's
kinda-
like a dessert beer.
Yeah.
Now, did y'all can this beer too? Did y'all?
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah,
did.
all three of
This-
these beers that we had
this
are
is-
available in cans.
okay.
Like
Wonderful.
now, and we kind of like Brent said, try to keep them around as much as possible, just so that people can, if they like a beer, they know they can come and get it
Yeah.
and stock their fridge or whatever.
Another thing I like about you guys.
Yeah.
Like, what makes you guys do that instead of just keep on making new types of beer? What keeps y'all going back to the same beer that the fans of Carbon Copy actually like?
Well, when we were working at another brewery, like it was the more of the one-off beers, new beer every week.
Yes.
And one thing that I kind of got bummed out about or burnt out on was the fact that like you'd have a beer and you're like, oh, this is good, but like I wish we could change this thing, but there was no tweaking involved. It was just like brew it once and then it's over. So like the fact that we brew these beers all the time, like Brennan's really big into tweaking too. He's like, I like the way that this beer is, but let's try to just like change it slightly. So we're just
take
trying to
this
like
malt out, put that
brew
hop in.
the
Yeah.
same beers over and over again so that we can like improve on them and really dial them in, you know. So that's kind of why
Yeah.
we do that, and also so we don't have to come with a bunch of beer names all the time, make new labels all the time. We also make it a little bit easier on us, you know.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
just didn't really like identify it with like, you know, repackaging something that's pretty much the same
Same
thing,
thing,
you
right.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So how often do you not necessarily have a one-off, but how often do you introduce a new style that could potentially be on your roster?
Right now it's been somewhat regularly. We've actually been using like collab beers as like a way to do some different things.
Okay.
You know, we have like a collab like label template, and then we invite the artists from the other brewery to like. If you've seen our cans, got like the windows on the side, like they fill that in, so that way it's a little bit of their art on there. And if it's like an IPA or something, we'll talk about like, oh, this is what we do, and they'll say like, oh, this is like what we do, and we'll kind of use some of the same like techniques that other people do. And it's been cool to see like, you know, some of those beers come out, and we're like, okay, yeah, this tastes like, you know, different than our normal IPA. It kind of tastes a little bit more like theirs because we're using some of the techniques that they do. So it's been at least like one or two a month, maybe.
Yeah, we've done way more collaboration beers than I originally had thought, but I guess being in the industry for so long, we met a lot of people,
Yeah,
and like
Go to a
when
lot
they
of beer
come
festivals,
through,
meet a lot of people.
when they come through, they're like, oh, let's hang out. I'm like, well, we work all the time, so the best way to hang out
is to make a beer.
with us. It's work, and we can
Makes
still hang
sense.
out. We also have done we have a collaboration in cans right now with Yakima Chief Hops.
Oh, okay.
So they're like a hop producer, and we were able to use some new hops that they have, like Nectaron, Cryo, and they have like a soluble like hop extract that you can put in like the Whirlpool. So it's not for bitterness as much as for like aroma and flavor.
Right, yeah.
So using those like new age technology hop like products that we hadn't used before is a good way to also experiment and
Yeah.
build off one.
And it's almost like y'all have two different programs. It's like we have what the fans like, we're going to consistently make that, and then we'll collaborate with other breweries or other hop companies or things
Yeah.
like that to do our experimentation while we're always tweaking and perfecting the beers that we have. That's
Yeah, we do.
I'm proud of
yeah.
you guys, man.
A lot of modern stuff.
like
Yeah, y'all make a lot of smart decisions.
Yeah, because like we've
got a
been
lot
to a
of time
lot
to
of
think about
we've been
all
to
of this,
we've been
you
to a
know?
lot of breweries. We talked to a lot of owners and brewers, And
Yeah.
it seems like you hear the same thing, like, what are you doing to stand out? And like, oh, we just making good beer. And like, yeah, all right, the beer's good. At this point, everybody's making good beer.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
that's true.
What are you doing? And it's just to hear something different is refreshing.
Well, it's kind of cool because, like you're saying, you always have one of the flagship beers on tap, and the people coming. But that also is a staple of a community pub and somewhere
Right.
we can always
Yeah.
have. Like, hey,
Right.
I always know I
Yeah,
can
like
come,
we
come here and
we
hang
here in
out.
West Philly, 3 blocks away, and that, like you said, the
Yeah.
dude likes IPAs, and you don't have his IPA today
Yeah.
because you're like, oh, that kicked, and we not making that for 3 more months
Yeah.
or never again.
Yeah.
I'm never coming back here. Like, why would I come? Yeah, it makes the local
That's our primary,
neighborhood is it.
Our primary concern is
So
keeping
being
like the neighborhood.
with you guys being in West Philly, like what's the crowd like that comes in? Like what's your demographic? Like is it a mixed crowd or
Yeah, it's like a mix of everybody.
everybody?
Because we're with
I mean, because it's everybody in this area,
There's
so
kind of on the edge of 2 like different neighborhoods. Like
Yeah.
Cedar Park is kind of right over here. So we get a nice mix of everybody coming in, families
A lot of
too.
families, yeah.
Sometimes some younger kids, but
Yeah, we're a little bit further from like the universities
Yeah.
though. So
Yeah.
out here it's
Okay.
a lot-
Yeah.
It's a little quieter, like families and just people that live in.
A little less
Yeah.
rambunctious.
living there.
And you got something for everybody. You got wine, you got beer, you got food.
Yeah, I see these
Right,
pizza
right.
boxes. I
Alcoholic
see the
stuff
pizza
too,
boxes they made, and
yeah.
that dude is flipping dough.
Oh, yeah.
He's flipping.
Oh, this is a real.
Yeah,
he's
it's a
making
real deal.
pizza.
Yeah, it's
Oh, yeah.
it's a fire oven back there.
so,
He's making real pizza.
so was that part of your, I guess, when you first thought about starting a brewery, was that all
The
of the
vision?
vision that you had? Like, we're going to have food. I know wine was like, maybe, but like wine, ciders. Did you even start to think about, because it actually happened during, in the pandemic, I guess canning was just like you had to go canning.
Yeah.
For sure, yeah.
Right.
yeah. Some people use like growlers, like West Philly's, I think a little more conscious of stuff like that. So we have, I think we sold more growlers, or we sell more growlers than we were expecting. But like
Nice.
everybody wants, they want the can, and that's like a whole visual identity of like your brand and the beer. So something that people identify with in that way, and it just like it makes so much more sense to grab a 4-pack so you can have like one of
Right.
one beer instead of like opening like a big
Right.
growler and be like,
Right,
I gotta
yeah.
drink
I gotta
4
drink.
beers.
Yeah, I gotta drink this now too. I don't
We
have
just
any
talked about
friends.
that yesterday, and I was like, I don't
have enough friends. I don't have friends for a
Yeah, I
growler.
don't have friends,
Yeah.
and it's like
I got friends for a 4-pack. That's me.
right. And then the ones that like do drink beer, it's like maybe I want to drink it at 12 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
I don't want y'all at my house. I'm not going to share
I'm
that
not,
shit.
I'm
Like,
not
why?
inviting y'all over at 12 o'clock on a Tuesday for this growler. No. Now I got to wait till Saturday to drink my growler? No, I don't want to do
They
that.
asking you if everything's all right.
Right. If you
Come over at midnight on Tuesday.
Are you okay? Are you okay?
Nah, I just needed somebody to drink this with me. I just couldn't.
Couldn't finish it myself. I got to work in the morning. That's funny.
But also, when we first started planning, we didn't have like a whole restaurant, like a full service restaurant, like in our plan. But
Okay.
when we found this space and like they already had that involved, we actually teamed up with like our chef partner who we had also worked with in the past. He was making pizzas at another spot, so it also just kind of like worked out to be like, hey, like we now are adding this whole other entity to the,
Right.
the plan, and
Yeah, it's like a
and-
business within a business.
yeah,
Right.
and like you said, like everybody's making good beer now, so you can't just like open the door and be like, yeah, here's the beer. You have to offer more of an experience,
Right.
like
Gotcha,
food,
gotcha.
a lot of options for different people.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
And getting people to travel too. They're like, oh, okay, well, I can go here, or I can go here and I can bring the family, or
Right.
like,
Right.
there's different things, and we can,
And
we
it's-
can sit and have a couple beers.
I mean,
and, the pizza will.
To me,
help that out.
I think it's always great that if I can have a beer and I can take my family with me, I can have good beer, and I got food there. Like you can't beat that.
and then
And you got some low ABV beer, so you
Right.
can keep drinking and drinking.
Yeah, and if the kids get a little crazy, you gotta take a break. Go across the street.
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
playground.
go across the street.
Yeah, go
Right,
burn,
yeah.
go burn it off. Y'all,
soft serve
y'all,
ice cream machines
yeah,
for
for
kids,
sure.
and the adults. Who doesn't love ice cream?
And,
Right.
and something very unique. I'm looking here on the menu. Something very unique I've never seen on a menu, let alone a brewery menu. You guys have 10 fish.
Yeah.
That's like sardines and anchovies and mackerel and,
Yeah.
and the like. Why?
Why? Brendon can answer that.
Well, first
They
off,
can everything. Say no.
It's all part of the cans. All cans.
I love it. That's a great answer.
can crew here. So, like, when you're asking, was it as a kitchen, like, in our initial plan? Like, we didn't think we were going to be able to, have the money to build out a full kitchen, and, we wanted to offer something. So, really into, like, the tin fish, and, a lot of the stuff is really good, and it's, it's shelf stable, and you can get such a variety, whether it's, a different type of fish or in a different sauce or something like that. And, like a nice salty snack is always great with
Beer.
drinking.
That's true.
And,
So you was like, we're gonna have something.
yeah.
This was his late night snack during
Yeah.
graduate school.
Yeah, one 64-ounce growler and a tin of fish. So
That's
that-
boy dinner.
Our boy dinner.
So that was kind of like a holdover from the initial, and
Absolutely.
it's like a way we can add a lot of variety to the menu, and they played it up with like a little deviled egg and some house-made like barbecue beer nuts and some pickles.
Listen, man.
and-
If you like
Okay,
any
it's a
type
whole
of tin
setup.
fish, like is there like a tin fish restaurant? I've never heard any place selling except grocery stores.
It's been becoming more popular also
Yep.
because it's like they're all sustainably
Yep.
caught. They have different like flavors, so it's not just like it's not like just a can of like
Yeah.
You got
raw,
like 5
old
years to
Yeah,
eat
you
it
get some-
before it goes bad.
You
so.
get some chili sauce on it. You
there's
get the
some
mustard
chili
sauce.
sauce,
Yeah,
some
yes,
seed,
yes.
so-
I know all about this.
Yeah,
tin
that is different though.
for sure.
Yeah, there's like Bloomsday. They're more of a wine-focused spot. Like in Head House, they do like a lot of tin fish, and there's a spot called Herman's, the coffee shop in South Philly. They got like almost like a little mini market inside, and they do like a ton of that stuff.
You
there.
guys are so nice with that free advertising for
Yeah.
other people. That's wonderful.
They're good people.
Wonderful.
I'm always curious. Do you know what this building was before it was even
Before it was a brewery.
Oh yeah, it was a firehouse.
Was it?
Yeah,
They're gonna
these,
move-
these were the big doors where
Okay, that,
the
yeah.
trucks
okay.
Pull
No,
out.
it used to be horses pulling the engines.
Yeah,
That-
so
oh,
go out
wow.
In the
Wow.
back, like there's 3 floors, and like on the 3rd floor is like a co-working space, and they have kind of some building plans from early on, and part of that was outside, and it says like
wow.
manure pit.
Yeah, the brewery was actually where the manure pit for the horses
Yeah.
were. So that's why it
Flavor.
tastes so
Yeah, that's
good.
flavor.
Local
Terroir. You know? But yeah, there used to be
That's
a
good
pole
shit right
that came
there.
straight
That's
down
good
the
shit.
center of this room too.
really?
So
Yeah, we were grinding the floor up to redo it, and we were like, sparks start shooting out. We're like, found
Oh,
the pole.
yeah.
yeah,
found
where
the
the pole
pole.
was.
Yeah,
But yeah, and
that's
then
crazy.
I mean, I don't know when it closes the fire department because fire department moved down to 52nd Street, just down Willows, so like 2 blocks that way, and then it was a farmers market for a long time, and then
used to be
after
one
that,
big
yeah,
open room.
one big open room, yeah.
Y'all need to find pictures of all those and put them somewhere.
Yeah,
We
put
actually
them
were
right
talking to
underneath
somebody
the feline.
yesterday, the guys up at New Ridge Brewing in Roxborough, and who was it?
I think it was their dad made like lieutenant or something like when this was
Here?
still Firehouse.
Wow.
I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah,
People
you
come
should
in and
get
like,
some of
yeah,
his.
I remember
Give me
when
his
I was a
pictures.
kid, I'd hang out here with my dad, and I'd slide down the pole and stuff. I'm like, well, the pole's gone now.
awesome.
but-
Come on through.
That'd be cool if the pole was
If the
still
pole
there,
was
though.
Yeah.
Yeah, people might get a different idea.
I did. As soon as I heard about it, I thought about that. Another thing that I definitely did. Firehouse and pole. Whatever. It doesn't matter, man. Tell me about why you guys have this Mexican Spanish soda.
Jarritos?
Yes.
Doritos.
I mean,
It's delicious.
Yeah,
It's really
I mean, beside it being
Yeah,
delicious.
it's really good.
Yeah.
Like grapefruit soda. We used to have like Mexican Coke on there, so like it also it has like the real sugar, so it tastes so much better. That was before we had like a soda gun. We just got that since we started doing some more cocktails. So some of the stuff we couldn't get on the gun, we still
Okay.
keep around. In the
Do you have
bottle.
any soda beer mix things that you do here?
We do like so we have a beer called Radiate. That's like our it's like a more tart beer. And we've been like almost like a Berliner Weiss with the the syrup in it, or like a Radler, which is like beer and soda mix.
Yeah.
We've been doing like have like a grapefruit soda, or sometimes if it's like when it was mango, we did like the mango soda. We
Also,
call
the
those, like, a
the
radiator.
Jarritos come in
Yeah, we
in
call-
varieties.
Yeah, I call that like a radiator.
Okay.
What about soda and wine? Does that go?
No.
It's kind of, I guess, it's more like a.
Why would you mess your wine up
sangria
with soda?
type.
I don't know. Sangria.
Good.
Okay.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean,
If somebody wants to mix beer and soda though too, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I like
speaking
it.
of mixing things, do you guys make any stouts?
Not yet.
We haven't made any stouts yet, but we both have worked in breweries in the past where they made a ton of stouts, and we definitely want to make some stouts. We have some dark beers coming up on our schedule because we also kind of brew more seasonally. You know, or
Okay.
having a strong dark beer in the
So you're not
summer
gonna have
probably
a summer
won't
stout?
move as much.
You're not gonna have a summer stout?
See, I was
stouts.
liking y'all in a minute. For a
Yeah,
minute.
you kind
But
of that
not now.
disappointed me a little
Because-
bit.
You're go to Florida and people are
Wrong
drinking like
answer.
Yeah,
12%
I don't think it's
stouts
a
in the summer.
seasonal beer. Like you can drink a stout anytime.
Like
This is
a
kinda like
lower
where we-
ABV
like,
stout,
the
or are
dark
you
mild
talking
is
like
kinda like
imperial
our-
stout?
Imperial maybe keep it for the winter,
Yeah.
but I'll drink any stout
Honestly,
anytime.
yeah,
like
me
stouts
too.
don't make me warmer than a
that's
pilsner
true.
would.
Like,
You know
if
what I
you're
mean?
talking like a 5 to 7% stout,
Right.
I'm into that.
See?
Yeah.
Just haven't.
See?
I drink a lot of
But
Guinness.
I think
so.
it's all about the mouthfeel, honestly, because
Yeah.
like that pilsner, when you said it feels refreshing, it feels summertime. It feels
Yeah.
light. You know what I mean? And stouts tend to mouth feels kind of heavy, so I think that's why the warmth
Man,
of it all.
give me all of it.
But
I'll
yeah,
take it.
I
But the
would much
reason
rather have
the reason I
stout
said speaking of
anytime.
mixing because they got this soft ice cream machine over here,
Yeah.
and I was just thinking a stout was like a float almost, but using
float?
it.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
yeah.
got
A
a
golden
porter in
stout
the,
with vanilla ice cream.
Oh, that's
Coming
close.
up.
Cut. Oh,
Yeah,
porter.
so
Yeah.
it's a little less roasty, but
Yeah, I guess
still,
you could use a porter,
Still-
but a stout better.
Lots of chocolate.
I can't wait to collaborate with you guys. I have
Better.
so many ideas.
When we get stouts, we'll call you back. up.
Yeah,
We'll
you
have
got
some,
to.
some stout floats for sure.
Stout floats.
So
Wow.
I know you mentioned the wine earlier. Like, what style of wine is it being produced here?
So all of our wines are definitely, like lighter, like a little bit higher on the acid side of things. Like, so lighter, easier to drink, like more refreshing kind of styles. Like right now we've got, for the most part, we've been just kind of had like a red, white, and then like a orange or like a skin contact kind of one. So we got like Pinot Gris that was like fermented on the skin. So it has a little bit of tannin to it, but it's still pretty high acid, really dry. Then we have like a really dry Riesling that's very high in acid, and then we do a blend, kind of like a red blend, something that's a little bit fruitier, and a little like a really good pizza wine.
Okay, nice.
And I guess cider is also on the menu, correct?
They got everything.
We
They
don't
got
make
something
this
for
cider
everyone.
ourselves right now. Maybe down the road, but we get it from Ben Wank over at Plowman Cider.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Hey,
I'm a
he
Plowman.
makes killer cider. So
We had some thought to think like, all right, let's not also do cider. Right
yeah, we can build into that. Also, pertaining to the wine, we also source all of our grapes from the Mid-Atlantic region. So this year we got a lot of stuff from Pennsylvania and Jersey. In years past, Virginia, New York, anything, and most of them are like hybrid grapes. So they're not like the big name grapes, but they grow better in our climate. You know,
Okay.
so we try to get stuff that's like
yeah,
better for here.
Yeah, in the farming, you can do a lot less sprays than you can with some of the more finicky grapes that people grow around here.
Okay.
Our goal is to like work with, eventually find some like vineyard partners, like the stuff we got in South Jersey this year. We talked to them about kind of being a long-term kind of collaborator in that way. Like hopefully we can just get more and more from them and kind of keep in contact throughout the year. I was talking to him about learning more like the vineyard side of stuff and like lending a hand, and if we have people that are a lot closer than stuff we're getting was in the Finger Lakes, it's a little easier to drive to South Jersey than it is all the way up there.
I would
So,
agree. Dr. B, we we know that Kyle was originally from Indiana, but I don't think we asked you, where are you from?
lived in Upper Darby for a few years and then moved to Drexel Hill. So
Okay,
still part of
okay.
Upper Darby
So that
Township.
explains the green in your
Yeah,
in your
yeah.
sweatshirt. Appreciate that. Go Birds. Go Birds. Go Phils too.
This is fancy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got this is real.
Oh,
right
these
here.
big glasses and
swirl a
everything. Yeah, I feel like I gotta sniff this.
I'm not a real wine drinker though, so I don't know like
You got one.
Let Dr. B and Kyle tell you how to do it.
You want to do a little swirl?
You see the swirl?
because I don't got swirl no beers around. I just go ahead and bust them back,
You
baby.
could, though. That sounds aggressive. That sounds aggressive, right?
Bust it back.
I just bust them back.
Brews and banter, busting back.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Bust them back on a bruising banter.
Keep that double B.
Yeah, bust them back.
Them BB. Never mind. It's getting a little outrageous now.
That smells good though.
It's delicious. I like it.
Oh, it got a little bite in the front too.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that tannin from the skins.
Yeah.
Can throw some people off because, you know, it's like white wine made like a red wine. It has a little bit of that tannin, but it's
What are the name of these
it's
New York
funky.
grapes?
Pinot Gris.
That's the name of the grapes.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
so,
Okay.
Like in France, it's Pinot Gris or Pinot Grigio, and in Italy, it's
That's so crazy. I never knew the name of the wine was the name of the grape.
yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
it's like
Is a Riesling a grape?
Riesling's also a grape. Yeah.
What the fuck?
Well, what's Sauvignon Blanc?
Yeah. Is Sauvignon Blanc a grape?
Blanc's a grape.
I thought that was just a girl name on tape.
No, that is a grape, my guy. Jesus. I did know Champagne is a city in somewhere over there. France.
Yeah, it's
French.
yeah.
Don't worry
Yeah,
about
it's
it.
France.
Okay, thank you.
France.
Thank you.
See, you learned a lot today. I mean, you and I, because I didn't know either.
I was about to say,
Yeah,
we're
we
both.
learned about the about champagne from Wayne's World.
Exactly, yeah.
Otherwise, it's just sparkling white wine.
right.
Every place else.
This is good though.
So I'm always curious to know. I don't think if we actually like, what are your favorite personal styles? Like,
Yeah.
what's your personal beer style?
I mean, I really like pilsners and pale ales. Basically, I like to kind of go back and forth between those two. You know, when I'm drinking several beers. You know, so I like them too because they're like 5%, easy drinking.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, that's true.
still very flavorful styles.
Yeah,
And,
I still love both of those, and those are probably the two I drink the most of. Also been really back on West Coast IPA, so a little drier, a little more bitter, and Saison. So
Yeah, saison.
dry, bubbly, like any kind of hoppy Belgian beer like that. I'm pretty into.
Now, do you do a farmhouse ale or some sort of?
We don't have any right now, but it's definitely something that we're
got two.
working. Oh yeah, we do
We
have.
have 2 barrels.
Yeah.
So we did a collaboration with Burial.
Okay.
So it was like it was like based off of like a smaller rice lager. So when we brewed that, we split it. Half of it went in and fermented with lager yeast, and we released that as a little. Actually, it was called Little.
Yeah, that's the name of the beer. Little.
It was a little rice lager. And then the other half we put into a tank with Saison yeast, and then we also added some of the yeast from the Riesling, and then when we sent it to oak barrels, we added a little bit of Brettanomyces to give a little more complexity. So that's still in there, and we'll probably take that out pretty soon, actually.
Yeah, and we plan to always brew a little bit
Yeah.
like saison, like farmhouse beers, but we just really haven't had the time. So
Yeah.
until now.
Same thing with like the stouts, and been planning to do like a big stout, big barley wine, and put those in barrel as well.
I mean, I guess
I'm here for R&D. Any R&D
though.
you guys need, I'm here. I'm here. I just want you guys to
I
know
swear
that.
he be quality control.
I am, man. I let people know what tastes good and what don't. I know what the people like out here.
But to be busy is actually a blessing.
Yeah, for
we're
sure.
Busy, we ain't got.
Yeah,
time.
if you want to
So that's
collab,
all.
if you want to hang out with us, come brew some beer.
Right.
That's a great way
You
to
that
hang
busy.
out. Right. That's cool. Anything on the sour program list? I'm a huge sour fan.
So we have like the tart beer, and then the barrels will probably pick up a little bit of that. I've worked in places where that sour level kind of kept creeping up, and
When it gets to
yeah, we're looking for more something that has like a little bit of acid to it, something that like makes you want to like take another sip,
Right.
Instead of something that make the warhead face,
Right. Take another sip.
Because that's one thing I can't stand about sour. We talked about that yesterday, too. I was talking about how bad sours can be. And I love sours, but just don't make it.
Yeah, the spectrum.
Don't try to kill me.
The
like,
spectrum of
I
sours
want
is
it to
so
taste
like.
I don't
good.
want to
Yeah,
look like the
it's like-
package of a warhead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't do that.
I
to
honestly
me.
think sours are my favorite beer and my least favorite beer.
Depending on the
Yeah,
one.
Yeah,
depends
yeah.
on what kind
That's
of sour
true.
it is.
That's
Yeah,
true.
for sure. Nah, it's still IPA. Yeah, that's not even like this. That was just a joke.
IPA still.
I mean, some people come in and they'll be like, oh yeah, you got pills on, and then they'll still wind up drinking a bunch of IPA too.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, what's wrong with those folks?
I mean,
Our fest beer actually outsold our IPA for a couple weeks, and
Nice.
that was really felt good. Get in here and see that.
yeah, I
Absolutely.
bet.
Absolutely. I drunk all my wine. This is
this wine
no
is really
offense,
good.
no offense at all, because all the beers that you gave us were great. This is the best.
That's because you felt like you was drinking the sour when you.
It felt like wine. It did feel a little, because of the tart in the front. It felt a little beery.
Kind of like the funkiness of the.
Yeah, we
It's
just
real
crush the grapes or press them and let the yeast that's on the grapes or in the winery do all the fermenting. So makes it a little more like that's kind of what we're into. We have to add yeast to the beer because
Did you say what made it the color it is?
So
I missed that.
So the Pinot Gris is like I don't know if it's related to Pinot Noir, but it has like, if you look at it, like the skin's kind of more like a grayish light purple.
Okay.
Than it is like kind of like a yellow or
Right,
green or like a red.
Okay.
So it picks up. A lot of times it'll actually turn pretty like pink, and some of that'll drop out into like kind of this like nice orange color. But it has like a lot. The skins have a lot of that tannin, so you get a little bit of that bite. So
I think the color is real deceiving. The color is like real Moscato-y, and you're not going to get that sweet Moscato from that.
No. Now, y'all talk about sustainability. So do you use the old traditional methods of getting the juice from the wine?
Your feet?
Stepping on it.
Well, you were squeezing. I was like, what's
Yeah,
this?
you did it like I ain't never seen that before. What wine you getting?
Milk wine. The udders.
I'll milk my wine.
that sounds more like a Midwest thing.
We do have like a grape press to like press the juice out, but we also, for smaller batches and certain
them out.
Oh, you do some
styles,
footy
we
things?
do
Stomp
foot
with our
stomping.
feet,
yeah.
Sanitize our feet before we do it.
Please do. Thank you. I would appreciate that. I mean, back in the day, they did not, and they still make the wine.
That's where the magic comes.
That's too late now.
That's where the funky come from.
Yeah.
That's called flavor.
Seasoning. That's seasoning.
Yeah, like you put your foot in that.
Yeah, sure did. All that toe jam and bunion is all for you. So no bunions allowed, right? No corns. I mean, because you can sanitize your feet, there's still a corn in there.
Ew, nah. That's disgusting.
All right.
It's only for the larger batches.
Yeah.
You only get corns and barnacles for the larger batches. Yeah, this is a thing, man. This isn't
I
nasty.
regret asking that question.
Corns and barnacles.
You should. That was a good question.
Yeah, it was.
Now, if somebody was new, was coming here, so what I was actually like to know, like, what should they indulge in when they first coming into the beer? Like, you can't leave carbon copy without having
Trinar.
It's a tough one.
If I was coming in, I probably would have.
Not you,
Bindle.
Dr. B. Not you, Dr. B.
Yeah.
You're not Dr. B right now when you're speaking. You're just
you're a person from West Philly
Guy on the
that
street,
just
you're
moved
coming
in. He
here.
just moved in from Montana. He lives in West Philly now. And he's, I don't
Rode his
know.
horse
He's,
here.
he rode his horse.
Well, I mean, you
he
do see
noticed.
people ride horses.
He noticed the history.
Yes, you do.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
for me, or from my
not
perspective, for not Kyle, for
Yes.
Montana man,
Montana
I
man,
would
Kyle.
say Montana man should come in here and have a plain cheese pizza and a Bindle Pilsner.
Okay.
you know? 'Cause,
Okay. Cheers.
I mean, just like you were saying earlier, like you kind of judge
That's it?
people on your. That's it. Well, we also have some chicken wings that are really good.
Oh yeah, the wings are.
He said, "That's it, just cheese pizza." Like, why would you
I
do
mean, I
that?
feel like just like people can judge a brewery on like
Yeah,
a
that's
lager,
true.
like judging a pizzeria on their
A
cheese pizza.
That
you know,
is
like,
true.
That's true.
That's
Because
true.
we do have some pretty interesting like flavor combinations. Like we have like a samosa inspired
Yes.
like white pizza that,
With mint.
that people really like, and also our mushroom pizza is really good. But the cheese is kind of like
Yeah, it's classic.
yeah.
Them wings do look good, though. Is that what that is? The wings right there?
Oh my gosh.
It's like, did somebody say wings?
Them wings look
Right. He
delicious.
was right
I'm gonna
on
have to
time
go
with
get
that
some.
too. Is that
Yeah, we do a
for
buffalo,
us?
salt and pepper, and then usually have like a special.
What's the special today? This week?
What is this? Honey gochujang.
Honey gochujang.
That's another language. That's ASL. That's ASL.
It's like a
It's like a pepper paste.
chili paste.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's
Okay.
not super spicy.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, it's got some spice, but it's got some sweetness to it, and a good like fermented kind of flavor.
Oh,
to
okay,
it.
okay.
I love how the chef got.
we also have a
the
triple
right
chili
lighting.
wing if you really like
Oh,
spicy
triple chili.
things, but
Yeah, that's.
I'm
You
from
have
the
to sign
Midwest.
a-
Too spicy for me.
You have to sign a
They
waiver
use
for
me
that.
as the example. They're like, well, "Can Kyle eat it?" Like, they're like, "No, he can't eat it." I'm like,
Put
"All
that
right,
on
thank you."
there.
Me and they're like, this is fine. And Kyle's like, I don't like it.
Do y'all ever say? Do y'all do any like y'all have y'all food match with your beer styles? Or do you say, hey, if you got those wings, you should get this beer if you're going to drink a beer?
We don't do too many like beer food pairings like intentionally, but I do think some of them do complement each other.
Yeah, like our wit beer and the samosa. I feel like it's a really good combo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wit beer and Pinot Gris as well.
Yeah.
Pairing was the word I was looking for.
Samosa beer.
Yeah.
Go together. They go together.
Do they
Did you
do-
answer the question about
I did
it?
not yet.
Okay.
So
Okay,
if
yeah.
Mr. B was walking around, not
Right,
Not the
right.
doctor.
Absolutely.
Not the doctor.
the cheese is a great answer, but I also I'm a sucker for pepperoni, so I probably would get
yeah.
pepperoni, a bindle, Pinot Gris, and either tin fish or buffalo wings.
So just everything that you guys serve a little bit. Just a sampler.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
really
like
wanted
one for
to.
Do you guys sell a sampler? That should be something on the menu.
The tin fish is
the
kind of
Mr.
like
B.
a little.
It should be called the Mr. B.
It'll
and
be like
the
off
Mr. B
menu,
and
like,
Montana
in and
Man.
out
Yeah,
animal style. Be like,
right.
giving me
gotta
Dr.
knock on
B
it.
style.
Yeah.
Mr. B style.
I need a Montana Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Montana.
Yes, give him Montana Man.
If someone comes in and orders that, I'll know that they listen to this. And I'll know exactly what to give them. You know?
Yeah.
If they come in and order that, we need a promo code. guys.
Right there.
Yeah, it's true. Let me try that Montana Man.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Dropping a new single from Mr. B and Montana Man.
Oh, that's great.
Now,
We got the new names of y'all's beer.
I'm also curious about who comes up with the name
Yeah.
of beers.
Yeah.
We both come up with the names and the thought process behind it is just kind of keeping it more simple, just single words and just like something that sounds cool to say. They don't really have
Bindle.
deep meanings. They're just like coy, you know. It's just like also in today's day and age, names are getting long. They're also getting like contested. It's like, oh, your beer is also similar to my name, so like keeping it
that's
kind
true.
of vague and just simple, without a lot of thought behind it.
Yeah,
is
and
the
you know
best
what?
for us.
Because I think that's good because I'll drink a beer and won't remember the name
Name
of
at
it.
all. Yeah.
So that's easier to remember.
Yeah.
Like
And
that,
if
just
it's
in
got
one
a
word.
Gully.
It's got a weird name. Some people are like, I'm not ordering that.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to try to say this to that
And
guy.
then sometimes it's the opposite. If it has a weird name, like I got to try that. That name is
Yeah, but
outstanding.
when I'm not gonna say it though. I'm
no,
gonna be like,
no.
oh yeah,
I say
I'll
that
take
one
that
when I order it. When I
yeah,
order it, I'm
great.
like, I'll give me the crazy name.
I did it yesterday. I
never
that was the name. I'm like, yeah, I'll just have the apple cider.
The style. You just say the style.
just point
Right. It's third from the top. Can you give me that one?
Number 3, thank you. I'll just take that.
That's funny.
Now, I know you mentioned the farmhouses and the stouts. Is there any other style of beer that you have not done yet?
That's on the list.
That you like? Oh, we want to make sure we do that soon, or in the near future. I guess that's soon too.
No.
Yeah, that's a synonym.
Same time.
That's a synonym.
I mean, barley wine is something we wanted to do too.
Yeah.
You know, like
Okay.
Big English style barley wine.
Question for you about barley wine: is it always high ABV?
Yeah.
It is
gotta
always
be.
always over 10.
gotta be.
Okay.
Yeah, I
okay.
think that's where like the wine
Comes
like,
in.
Yeah, knock me down.
wine from barley.
Hey, you gotta get that.
Do you guys have a recipe for that?
Yep, it's gonna be all marisol.
Yeah.
That's an
boil it for a long time.
English
Get that
based malt.
caramelization.
Yeah.
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 Also, that's
Call me for
already
that,
in
too.
the-
Call me for
already in
that.
the thought process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Call me for that one too.
I was about to say R&D when
It'll
that's
be like
ready
a
to
double
go.
mash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll mash and then we'll take like the really high like amount of like concentrated sugars
Mm-hmm.
and we'll usually what we would do is like the sparge and rinse the grains to get it down to whatever gravity we
Yeah.
want it at.
Right.
But we'll probably pull all the grain out and then mash again.
Do it again.
So that way we can just get all of the high.
I want
Give me
all that
all of it.
alcohol.
Yeah. So-
How high y'all trying to go?
As high as
Yeah, I ain't gotta
12,
tell.
13%,
13?
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's
Sometimes you
light.
put it in the bourbon barrels and it picks up a little and a
You
little
seem
bit of
so
water.
excited, Dr. B.
Yeah.
Look how excited Dr. B's talking right now.
Yeah.
I've never seen him so happy.
I can't wait
Got a
to
little
make
twist
this
in his
barley
eye
wine.
right now.
For the record, I've never been happy.
He says that with no smile, too. I believe him. I believe him.
Oh, man.
That's funny.
Do there any more questions for?
Since we're in West Philadelphia, have you
No.
All right.
Okay.
Never mind. No question. No more questions.
Go into his Will Smith.
No more questions.
We have
No
not
more
seen Will
questions.
Smith or any of
Jada
his
was in the
relatives.
other
Or,
day, but
Who was?
Jada was in.
Okay, of course she was. Of course she was. Did she tell you something about Will? Yeah,
Jada's been in
had
a
lot
whole
to say
lot
about Will.
lately.
I think Will was outside crying.
Yeah, absolutely.
She admitted that carbon copy was her favorite.
She was in here with Tupac the other day.
Actually, Tupac proposed to her in the carbon copy. You didn't know that. Yep, I was there.
I do have a question though. Do you guys have like any brewery events or anything that you guys?
Live music,
Yeah,
entertainment.
like do you guys do entertainment or anything?
We've never had any live music here. It's. I mean, we have a pretty small capacity.
Yeah, it
It
is.
gets pretty tight in here.
High ceilings too.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's true. Yeah,
Put
those
the
sticks.
sound panels up and gotta just keep adding more and more to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we do play like the games, like especially right now, the
Yeah.
Eagles and Phillies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crushing it. So just- that's pretty much the only events we're doing. Our 1 year anniversary is coming up soon, and we're in December.
Okay.
And we're definitely looking into doing some sort
Cool.
of event with like some local breweries, some local like restaurants in the area and stuff.
Local
too.
podcasts.
So,
Local podcast.
Local podcast.
yeah, a local podcast,
Yeah.
definitely strong,
Yeah.
stout,
Yeah.
maybe in our future. And December,
Yes, it's stout time.
that's stout time. I mean, I know it's stout times anytime.
I mean,
but-
it's,
Yeah. That should be the name of the stout times
Stout time.
anytime.
It's
Stout
two
times
words, you
anytime.
know, can't do it.
That's true. That's
Gotta
true.
be one
That's
word.
true.
It's called anytime.
Yeah, anytime. Anytime.
that would make sense.
Kyle, Dr. B is a Eagles fan, and you're from Indiana. Are you like a Colts Pacers type
I'm
of
from
thing?
Northwest Indiana, so like by Gary. So we were
Okay.
like kinda
Chicago.
Like, I always say it's like the South Jersey.
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
Indiana, like
Okay.
you're right there. So I was
State of Chicago.
yeah, I was a Bears fan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
White Sox fan, not a Cubs fan.
Okay.
but I'm here in Philadelphia, and I love seeing people happy.
Yo.
I want Brendon to somehow
does.
experience
listen to him
happiness.
trying to stay
Yo,
safe.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. You know, it's so weird how so many non-Philly
sports,
people
my
come to
address.
Philly. Yeah, right.
Well, my girlfriend tells me, she's like, you can't be an Eagles fan. You're not from here. She's like, gatekeeping.
That's not true. That's
Like
not
what?
true. Kyle,
Come on.
I hear W.
You
I hear
W.
officially
Thank
W.
you. I'm allowed to
Philadelphia,
be an Eagles
Phillies,
fan.
Eagles, and whatever other fan you want to be. Just not Dallas.
Yeah.
Yeah, now we opened the brewery, so now he's not allowed to leave Philadelphia.
Yeah, absolutely. You're good. You're
I'm
here
here.
for life. Yeah, you're
I'm
here
in it,
forever. For
you know?
sure. For sure.
That's true. That is definitely true. But he definitely tried to stay safe. You know, I love
Yeah.
seeing people happy. I love all the fans.
Right.
All the fans.
If my girlfriend would allow it, I would bleed green myself, but she won't allow it, so I'm not going to do it. But
I
you guys
love
bleed it. Bleed it out.
Oh, this is the return to Kelly Green.
Yeah, it's Kelly Green Day.
Yeah.
For those who are listening late, the Dolphins come into town to play the Eagles, and it's 1990 all over again with the
Yeah, did you
uniforms.
see the field?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
I
yeah,
see it.
yeah. They have the old Eagles bird.
Oh, do they?
The old Eagles
Yeah,
logo
the
on
old
it.
logo.
And the old
Yeah.
word. How do you
Nice.
say
In the
it?
end zone.
Everybody with them old jerseys can put their
Yeah,
jerseys on.
Randall McDaniel Cunningham coming out today. It's a lot of Reggie Whites today.
If they don't win today, no one's going to be safe.
No.
Yeah, you're right about that.
No.
And if you're a Dolphins fan, you're way easy to spot.
Don't wear your jerseys, Dolphins fan. They're already tailgating.
I was
Y'all
like, I
be
can't wear
safe
my-
out there.
My high vis orange shirt today.
No, they're gonna assume. They're gonna assume. Wear that next Friday.
Nice.
All right. Well, we want to thank Brendon and Kyle for coming on
Yeah,
the podcast.
thank you. You guys can't hear, but we're clapping for you.
We're clapping. It's a clap. It's a clap. It's a clap.
Before we go, we always like to know how people can find you. What's the physical location of Carbon Copy and all that good stuff?
Yeah, well, we're on the corner of 50th and Baltimore, West Philadelphia. You can find us online at carboncopyphilly.com and Carbon Copy Philly on Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. And,
Great.
Cool.
And yeah.
All right, Lou.
You guys can find me on the Instagrams. My name is Lou Belgium.
You be making shit weird as hell. Boy.
I'm weird. I'm not. I don't want to be normal. I don't ever want to be normal. And thank you for saying that. That was a compliment. I'll take that. Thank you. Where can we find you at,
You
Yoda?
can find me on IG at IM302YODA. That's it.
You can find Bruiser Banter Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, and X.
Twitter, X, formerly known as. Yeah.
Formerly known as. And on TikTok, we're there too.
Hold on. Do you still tweet on X or do you
Not really.
extension or
You
whatever?
on Threads yet?
Yeah, we
You
are
been
on
into
Threads.
Threads?
We are
Cool,
on
cool.
Threads.
I think Instagram forced you to be on Threads.
Like you have no choice. You're
have a
already
choice,
logged on.
yeah.
You already logged in.
No, I'm very. It's very satisfying when you pull down and you see the little thread thing.
With the little
The refresher.
loop.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's pretty
Oh,
cool.
okay.
I haven't done that yet. I haven't got to that part.
I guess they're not on Threads.
I'm on there.
I'm not doing extensions on X either. What are you doing on Threads? Are you threading? Are you sewing?
Yeah, you're threading.
You're threatened.
Threatened.
But on X, you're Xing?
I think you're extensioning.
I think it's
You're sending out extensions.
Ecstasy?
Ecstasy.
Ecstasy.
Exhibit.
Yeah, you're exhibiting.
Yeah, there you go. That works.
That does work. That's a good one. That's what we're doing.
Okay.
You can listen to the podcast, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, anywhere you listen to podcasts. You can even say, Alexa, play Brewing Banter podcast, because we are on there too. Once again, we want to thank Brandon and Kyle for coming on for
Thank you, guys.
episode
Appreciate y'all.
223 of
Thanks
Brewing
for having
Banter
me.
podcast. And
thank you.
until next time.
Have a good week, everyone.
Peace.
Go Phillies.